Did Representative Al Green just go completely off the rails? Conservatives certainly think so, erupting in outrage after a viral clash where the Democratic congressman appeared to have a spectacular meltdown. The question on everyone's mind is, was this a calculated political stunt, or a genuine loss of control that has severely damaged his already dwindling influence? Before we dive into the explosive details, if you want to stay on top of everything happening in U.S. politics, hit that subscribe button right now and leave a like. It really helps this channel grow and keeps you informed. Now, let's talk about what happened. Representative Al Green, a familiar face known for his persistent impeachment efforts against former President Donald Trump, found himself at the center of a storm after a heated exchange with Homeland Security Secretary Mullin. The confrontation occurred during a congressional hearing, a setting usually reserved for serious policy discussions, but it quickly devolved into something far more dramatic. Green accused Secretary Mullin of racism, a serious charge leveled in the public eye. When Mullin began to defend himself, aiming to explain his position, Green didn't wait for his response. Instead, he barked a curt, "Shut up." This moment was instantly captured and amplified online, with the Republican National Committee's official X account reposting the clip and labeling it unhinged. It's a damning indictment from a political opponent, and it perfectly encapsulates the conservative reaction. This incident is a stark reminder of how many of Al Green's theatrical protests against the Trump administration, and now the current administration, have a tendency to go viral. And more often than not, they ignite fierce backlash, particularly from conservatives who view these actions as partisan theater rather than substantive governance. Adding another layer to this story, the 80-year-old Congressman Green recently suffered a significant defeat in his primary election. He lost to newcomer Representative Christian Menefee, a fellow Democrat, a consequence of new redistricting maps that forced the two into a collision course for Texas's 18th congressional district. This loss, coupled with the recent public spectacle, paints a picture of a congressman whose political capital may be rapidly depleting. For years, Green has positioned himself as one of the Democratic Party's most unwavering adversaries of the Trump administration. He spearheaded at least 6 different impeachment efforts and consistently called on other Democrats to more visibly resist the former president's agenda. His anti-Trump stance has been a defining characteristic of his political career. This isn't the first time Green has courted controversy in such high-profile settings. Earlier this year, he was removed from a State of the Union address for displaying a sign that read "Black people aren't apes." During Wednesday's hearing, he brought up this past incident, noting that then-Senator Mullin had been among the Republicans who tried to snatch away his sign. Green argued that a racist would depict people of color as apes and that a racist would take offense at a peaceful protest. He held up a photo of that moment, attempting to draw a parallel to his current accusations. However, when Mullin attempted to interject and defend himself against the racism charge, Green's reaction was to silence him. He repeatedly asked for Mullin to be silenced and tried to enlist the Republican chair of the committee to enforce his demand. "Reclaiming my time. Ask him to shut up. It's my time. Tell him to shut up," Green was heard saying, an attempt to control the narrative and shut down any counterargument. Political commentators were quick to condemn Green's actions. Benny Johnson, a prominent political commentator, blasted Green's attempt to block Mullin's response, posting on X that this clip is the modern Democratic Party in one clip. He characterized Green's reaction as having no respect. No argument. No facts. No substance. Just shut up and a temper tantrum. This is all they have left. The conservative influencer account Libs of TikTok also weighed in, calling the moment an embarrassment for Democrats. They stated, "Representative Al Green, D., has a complete meltdown, calling DHS Secretary Mullin a racist before telling him to shut up. Thank God this unhinged lunatic was voted out." This sentiment was echoed by other conservative media personalities, like Eric Doherty, who celebrated the impending end of Green's time in Congress. Doherty wrote, "Insufferable Representative Al Green, D., just went on a berserk rant and DHS Secretary Mullin took an OBS. Al Green just lost his House seat. Good riddance. The situation escalated to the point where Homeland Security Chairman Andrew Garbarino, a Republican, had to gavel the room into silence, instructing, "No, the gentleman will suspend. There will be no addressing anyone's character in a negative way." Before the hearing could fully resume, Mullin got in one final, pointed jab at Green, remarking, evidently, his constituents heard enough of him because they voted him out. This directly referenced Green's recent primary election loss. Despite being instructed to refrain from personal attacks, Green, in his concluding remarks, seemed to double down. He stated, "I will speak into the microphone so that I may be heard. I ask that any person who desires to interrupt me shut up." This defiant statement, even after the committee chair's admonition and Mullin's parting shot, underscores the intense atmosphere of the hearing. So, what does this all mean? For conservatives, it's further validation of their view that Democrats are resorting to emotional outbursts and unsubstantiated accusations when they lack solid arguments. It's seen as further proof of a modern Democratic Party that is out of touch and descending into chaos. For Democrats, it's a potentially damaging incident, especially for a lawmaker who has already lost his primary. It raises questions about leadership, decorum, and the effectiveness of prolonged confrontational tactics. This event highlights the deep partisan divisions in Washington and the often heated rhetoric that characterizes political discourse, particularly when it involves figures who have made a name for themselves through their vocal opposition. The question now is how this public meltdown will impact the legacy of Al Green and the ongoing debates within Congress. So, what do you think about this? Was Al Green's outburst a justified response or an unhinged tantrum? Drop your opinion in the comments below. I read every single one. And remember, the political landscape is constantly shifting, so stay tuned for more in-depth coverage right here.